Some of us go through a really sharp, short awakening process, and some of us go through a more gradual, a more slow, a more natural awakening process. Which one's better? I'm going to dive into this today and just give a few little insights as to things that I've learned along my awakening process. All good things in life take time. Like birthing a baby, it takes time. Like building a business, it takes time. And sometimes if we come into this spiritual awakening journey with a mindset thinking, because we can, and we do oftentimes come into this process, even into business sometimes, thinking that we're going to have things handed to us on a plate. It's a bit of entitlement really, isn't it? But spiritual entitlement to think that this journey is just going to be one enlightening experience and then job's done. It doesn't work like that. Good things to really change your life, good things take time, and they take consistency and persistence. And that's one thing that I didn't realise at the start of the journey. Of course, that's part of the journey in itself, is beginning to realise these things and learning how to become a better person. Sometimes we think, as we go through the law of attraction, that we can just attract things like this into our lives, but it doesn't quite work like that. To have really good, clean manifesting, and to have a really good spiritual awakening journey, a really true, deep awakening process, we have to learn certain things about ourselves. We have to learn how to become a good person, like how to be hardworking. Not because we have to be, but because we want to be, because that's just a really nice trait to have. How to be a patient person. Not because the spiritual journey says we have to be patient, but because we want to be patient, because it's kind and it's loving, and it shows the rest of the world that they're unconditionally loved and that we really do care. Sometimes when we go through the awakening process, we do have quick, enlightening experiences, like I did at the start of my awakening process. But the job isn't done then, is it? Sometimes we have these quick awakening experiences, what I would term a Kundalini awakening. And if they're a little bit premature, the nervous system isn't quite ready for it yet. And that's what creates a bit of a mess afterwards. We haven't put the foundations in before we go through the spontaneous awakening, and then we're left with a bit of an aftermath afterwards. It's fine. We find a teacher and we work with that teacher who knows what they're doing, and we end up working these things out, working these karmas out. And of course, if you have had a Kundalini awakening, you don't know what's going on, and it was a bit of a premature one, you didn't put any effort in beforehand, or much effort, and something's erupted through, you know that it's your destiny, but also that the work isn't done. And if you wish, I'm doing lots of one-on-one calls with people that are going through this experience currently. If you wish, and you're going through an experience like this, you're more than welcome to apply. Down below there's an application form for some one-to-one coaching. Back to the video. If we have a premature awakening experience, or a premature enlightening experience, so to say, our nervous system's not quite ready for it. And we go out and do things to try and satisfy a nervous system that's now hyped up on what I might call a spiritual drug, an amazing feeling inside. The healthier way, if we can. It's not like this is a bad way, because it's your destiny, right? If something, I know this from my life, if something happens, if a big awakening eruption pops off inside of you, it's your destiny, of course, it's happened. But it can lead to things afterwards that, let's call it a spiritual emergency. It's not necessarily a spiritual emergency so long as you go and find a teacher, but for me, that was my experience of going through it. My nervous system wasn't ready for a big shock like that, and then we go off and we get ourselves twisted in strange ways, and we crave that bliss more and more, and that's not really the answer. The answer, if we do go through something like that, is to come back and begin doing the sadhana, the gradual work, the uprooting of these karmic tie-ups, the uprooting of our limiting beliefs through gradual sadhana. My teacher said it nicely. It's like, if you go for a gradual awakening, for example, it's like an eruption underneath the surface, underneath the tectonic plates, a lava eruption that's just slowly building with a gradual progression every day, and we call this in yoga titiksha. We have this gradual eruption that's slowly churning underneath the tectonic plates inside of us, this awakening. And once in a while, as we become gradually more settled, the more sadhana we do, more settled in this awakening process, we find that once in a while we might create a bit of an earth shattering or a bit of an earthquake, or something might just, shoot through, a little aha moment through the tectonic plates. I know it's a bad analogy, but this is just what my teacher said, and I thought it was a really nice analogy. We might, once in a while, as we go through this gradual experience of the awakening, notice that something just pops out, a little aha moment, a little moment of clarity, and you're like, oh right, yeah, I've got this. I'm really understanding what's going on inside of me. And it's with this gradual growth, it's with this titiksha that we imbibe in ourselves, it's with this constant commitment and enthusiasm to coming onto the mat each day and creating anew. Coming onto the mat each day and doing our sadhana, creating a new possibility for ourselves. This gradual improvement. Sometimes we won't notice ourselves improving. Sometimes, like I say, that eruption will just come out, tiny ones. So that we're building the foundations with this daily sadhana, if we're doing it gradually, so that underneath, with pranayamas, if we're doing this, the breathing exercises that we can engage with, so long as we get to a certain stage in the journey, are then creating this possibility inside for something big to come. To create this enlightening experience inside of us that we might call a Kundalini. But it is, in my opinion, the gradual experience, the gradual awakening, but a more healthy, a more natural way. Now, of course, we don't much have a choice over how we awaken, do we? You're almost chosen for the path. When you wake up, you wake up. It's not up to us in that sense. But don't feel disheartened if you're on a gradual path, because for me, it's the better path. It's this gradual increase, this gradual deepening into our practice daily, so that we build the foundations, the building blocks for something big to come through. And when it does, my teacher said quite nicely, after the awakening experience has happened, then we'll go and feed the cat, or whatever it is. It will just be something that's normal for us, something that won't rip raw through our nervous system, because we have a bit of an immature nervous system if these things start happening prematurely. And they can, and that's fine. And if they do happen prematurely, and we have an awakening experience without doing much work beforehand, it's then good to find a teacher. Okay, down below, there's a free breathing practice that you're more than welcome to sign up for. It's free, but you have to sign up. It will awaken, we call it cosmic double breathing, it will awaken some bliss inside of you. It will detoxify, energise, oxygenate and relax this nervous system that's perhaps a little bit immature at the start, that isn't quite ready for these really big, enlightening experiences. And that's why we do the gradual work, and this is part of that gradual work, this breathing practice. Of course, yoga's another part of that gradual work. And then when we get to a certain stage, pranayamas, proper breathing practices that will help us. really begin to cultivate this consistent, steady, gradual awakening growth that will then breed for strong foundations, and that will breed a stronger nervous system in which a bigger, larger awakening experience, an enlightenment experience may be able to be cultivated. But for that, we need a strong nervous system. For a strong nervous system, we need gradual, consistent sadhana, consistent spiritual growth. Down below, if you're going through an awakening experience, there's a free community. It's a private group of individuals going through a spiritual awakening or a Kundalini awakening that have nobody to speak to in, for example, their real life, shall we say, in the real world. Down below, I've created a forum for you there. You're more than welcome to engage with other like-minded people. It's free. I'll never charge you for it. Okay, I hope what I wanted to come across came across in that message, and it's just that even if you're in a gradual experience, a gradual awakening experience, or if you're going through a short, sharp awakening experience, just know that either way, we're trying to slowly, gradually, after the Kundalini or before, we're trying to cultivate a nervous system that's strong enough to experience all of life and then not have huge spiritual after effects or bring your body into a spiritual emergency afterwards, like it did me after my, what I would consider spontaneous, yes, but premature Kundalini awakening. Alright, I hope this helps you. So thanks for watching and have a lovely day.